Shalom, shalom. Goodness. There it is.
Shalom, shalom.
All right. Yeah, how about you on shot by the thumb there, everybody? We are the sons of thunder Israelites. It is our prayer and heart's desire that all Israel might be saved. Shalom, shalom. If y'all could go down the line right quick while I send these little links out. Say shalom to everybody that said something in the chat. As y'all come in the building, you know what I'm saying? Tell us shalom. Give us a hearty shalom. Post it in the chat if you feel like it. We'll go ahead and shout you guys out. Also hit the like button when you come in the building. That helps the channel out a lot. Helps us catch the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? So help us out with that if you will. It's a great way to support the channel. Give me a second. We'll begin in just a moment. Go ahead, Judah or Araya.
Shalom, Israel, shalom. All right, let me go down this chat. Brother Dre, Mariah, Anariah, Nasazah, H.I., Velda, all right, Soldier Kasaja, Yara All, Jason, John Allen, Kazakia, Anad, Shaquat, Amalak, Shalom, Shalom, Brother Malak, Amala, Yahawada, Kinsley, Soldier Ya'awar, Sister Mina, Mr. O, all right, and Sister Velda, Shalom, Shalom. All right, y'all make sure y'all like the video as you come into the building. Check out our show, Soldier Antoine, Shalom. Check out our weekly lessons on Milk Monday, True Tuesday, and the Friday night call. You can call in on Fridays, get your questions answered after the lesson is over. And you can also check us out on Facebook, where you can get a live in-person look at the camp out there in Atlanta. All right, we have 2 camp spots, Atlanta, Georgia. We have Woodruff Park, all right, where they start at 2 p.m. All right, 5 Points, Woodruff Park, they start at 2 p.m. And SOT, North Carolina, in Greensboro, North Carolina, downtown, we start at 3 p.m. at 200 North Elm Street, Greensboro, North Carolina. All right, so if you're in any of those 2 areas, come fellowship with your brother while we bring out this word. All right, and that's it.
And also on Fridays, if you are available, Malachi and a couple of the brethren, also Captain Aharon when he's available, and a couple of other brethren, they have camp around the what's it called? Around the Peachtree Taco Mac, around that area, right? So you guys can also join them if you guys want to get in contact, find out where, like what time they go out there, or what days specifically they're going to be out there, or what Fridays specifically they're going to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can get in contact with Captain Malachi, right? Or Captain Aharon. Okay, so you hit them up on Facebook or they'll be in the chat or what have you. You know what I'm saying? But they also have camp on Friday. So we got two days for camp in Georgia primarily, Friday and Saturday, and then there's also the North Carolina camp on Saturday as well. All right.
Also,
and if you're in Florida anywhere, we got, if you're anywhere near Fort Lauderdale, Captain Yaikwab is out there with the Light of Zion. So you can go see him as well, get in contact with him if you're anywhere in that area. Go ahead, Drew.
There's also new moons tomorrow evening at even. So if you want to attend the new moon feast or the new moon ceremony in class, contact Sons of Thunder Israelites at gmail.com to go ahead and RSVP so you can get your spot in the building. All right. So that's that.
RSVP. All right. If y'all would like the video as y'all come in the building, from what I see right now, we got 60 people watching, only got 40 likes. If y'all would like the video so we can catch the algorithm, it's a great way to help the channel. As I said before, you know what I'm saying? Best way to pay us. We don't get paid in money, you know what I'm saying? I like to say we get paid in likes. It's the best way to help any channel out, you know what I'm saying? Don't make any sense for brothers to be putting out the information and y'all can't just hit the like button and support any channel, right? Don't matter what channel it is, not just ours, but any Israelite channel out there where brothers are, slaving away, putting their they time and effort in to make a lesson for y'all to understand the scriptures. Least y'all could do is like the video for the brother. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, we're gonna get right into it. Some of you guys might be thinking, why are we doing a like another Galatians 3 breakdown? Main reason why is because if you've been listening to anything pertaining to our camp the last couple of weeks, uh, you know, since the summit maybe, uh, and especially since the beginning of Tabernacles, right, or Day of Atonement, even, right? If you've been listening, paying attention to our camp, especially the videos that y'all all has done, and if you've been on our clubhouse, you've been paying attention to certain lessons that have been done by y'all all and other brothers in our camp right now. Um, you'll see that main thing that we're trying to do is get Israelites in general to understand that we need to do better job of glorifying Hamashiach Yahushua, who they didn't call Christ, right? That's what we got to do. As Israelites, we got to do a better job of that, right? It can't just be us uh, continuing to make ourselves disciples of Moses, so to speak. We have to make ourselves disciples of the one who we are disciples of, which is Christ, right? And it's a lot of Israelites who have been I don't know, subject to not doing that due to fear of them sounding like Christians, or, maybe some brothers don't know how to really break down the scriptures the way Paul said them and, make it sound Israelite and not so much Christian, Christolite or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's like folks need to, you know, I don't know, really understand the doctrine of the Bible and get back to glorifying Christ as much as we teach the law. You know what I'm saying? Because when we just teach the law and we don't put the glory that Hamashiach Yahushua deserves with it, we sound like we're, disciples of Moses. That's not what we are in this time. You know what I'm saying? Also, not to mention, there's situations in certain groups, right, that we also come across. They're called Old Testament only, right? So these people don't even believe in Hamashiach Yahushua. So the fact that there's groups of Israelites and, there's a group of them that don't even understand that the one that we're supposed to be glorifying has been with us since the beginning. They don't even want to give him his glory. But they're, people claiming to go back to the folks that made this book that Jesus Yahushua comes from, right? That your knowledge of him comes from. So it's like us as Israelites, the people who claim to be the people who, go back to the book, the people who the book is a heritage for, right? We need to get back to glorifying the person that our book is about, right? Who helped us through all the things that we've gone through. Okay? What's going on here?
Nothing.
What is going on?
Nothing. I promise you. Just keep it moving.
Yeah, Con, yeah, we've been ignoring that guy.
All right. It's two of them. I see. All right. Yeah. Okay, Con. So, anyway, what I'm gonna do first, I actually do got a clip. I got a clip I'm gonna play as usual. It's only gonna be 3 minutes and 30 seconds. But just so we have a basis as usual, we're gonna give a little Christian breakdown so we can understand the Christian view of it. For those of you that don't know the Israelite view per se, but right after we end up doing this, I'm gonna give you guys a breakdown that's gonna be similar to the one that I gave you guys before in the past, but it's not necessarily gonna be that same breakdown because this breakdown is gonna be more, it's gonna be Galatians based, straight up, right? A lot of Israelites stay out of Galatians unless they're cutting a Christian, right? A lot of Israelites stay out of Ephesians and all the books that basically Paul wrote, unless we're trying to cut something that a Christian said, right? We don't actually teach from the books of Paul because Christians teach from the books of Paul. So it's like, Israelites don't want to teach it like that because then we'll sound Christian, right? But the thing is, what we've realized is you can teach the words of Paul basically the same way that Paul said it, and we should be able to stand on the way that Paul said it because Paul didn't lie about nothing he said, right? Why is it that the Christians can be so confident in what Paul said and we can, and the book belongs to us, damn it, right? Don't make no sense. So we have to get that understood. So, I mean, that's something we got to understand. We have to learn to teach the scripts the way that they are written without trying to add a doctrine to it that is past. You know what I'm saying? We got to accept what Paul said in certain situations. can't be all this trying to change it and stuff like that. And well, what Paul means is this. You know what I'm saying? So we're just gonna go through it, and that's what we're gonna do for the remainder of our time here, because that's how the Sons of Thunder Israelites are about to start rolling, right? As far as our doctrine is concerned, you're gonna start seeing that. Y'all will already make that announcement to you guys if you've been paying attention. So we're gonna start teaching Christ more, right? Glorifying Him more, Hamashiach Yahushua, right? And if the other brothers in other camps catch on, then that's that's what's gonna happen. But y'all are gonna see how it's not a bad thing the way that it's gonna be done, right? So let's get right into it. Just wanted to give you guys a little breakdown, a little basis as usual. Pull this clip up. Yeah. Give me a second while it loads.
Okay.
All right. So like I said, y'all hit the like button as y'all come in the building. Get your notepads out, your Bibles, your Apocrypha Concordance, your Strong's Concordance, Blue Letter Bible, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff. So that you all can follow along with us. Why is it sharing the audio? I did not ask you to do that. Give me a second. StreamYard got one of its own. All right. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear it in a minute or if I need to share the audio. Put a 7 in the chat if it sounds good.
So in the first episode, we saw how the Galatians were being pressured by certain Jewish-thinking Christians to mix a little bit of law into their Christian faith. Paul jumped in and said, "What's going on with you guys? Why are you listening to these legalistic Christians from Jerusalem? I preach the gospel to non-Jews, and it does not come from any man, not even from Jerusalem, but from Christ, and Christ in glory. I have spoken with those in Jerusalem and verified my teaching. You also know that I, here in Antioch, confronted the well-known Apostle Peter about this very same subject and clearly rebuked."
All right, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit so y'all understand what he was saying. I know it's kind of fast. It's only 3 minutes.
Thinking Christians to mix a little bit of law. Okay, so in the first episode, we saw how the Galatians were being pressured by certain Jewish-thinking Christians to mix a little bit of law into their Christian faith. Paul.
Now, notice this is all obviously coming from a straight up Edomite Christian perspective, right? He's got 2 black people in his illustrations, right? Even on the Jewish side, they decided to put 2 black people just to include the black folks, right? So it's inclusion therapy here. You feel me? They got the white Middle Eastern Jesus with the tan, I think. Oh no, that's Paul, right? Yeah, okay. So that's just the white guy.
Paul jumped in and said, "What's going on with you guys? Why are you listening to these legalistic Christians from Jerusalem? I preach the gospel to non-Jews, and it does not come from any..."
And as you see, they want you to think that Paul is this white guy that preaches the gospel to non-Jews, right? That's the main conclusion of the matter when it comes to Paul to the Christian perspective, right? He's the Gentile prophet to the non-Jews. We all know that that's not the truth, right? And that's the main reason why a lot of Israelites don't like to stay in the books that Paul wrote specifically. But it's okay for us to stay in those books, guys. You know what I'm saying? I can't miss I to stay in these books and teach it the exact way that he wrote it. And then make the Christians feel it the way that he wrote it, right? We need to start doing that because it's our book. Instead of trying to hide it and go around it and use other precepts, let's, use what he said and didn't bring the precepts out type stuff. Y'all gonna see. You'll see what I mean. All right? But as you see, first thing is they want you to think that Paul, right? Especially with this Galatians, because this is about Galatians 3 and 4, as y'all see. We only gonna listen to Galatians 3 part. But they want you to believe that Paul is this prophet to non-Jews, right?
Man, not even from Jerusalem, but from Christ, and Christ in glory.
He's a man, not even a Jew, but he's from Christ and Christ alone, right? Even though we know what Paul said about his ethnicity and where he's from and how he's a something of something and, all of that stuff. Hebrews. Yeah. All right.
Glory. I have spoken with those in Jerusalem and verified my teaching. You also know that I, here in Antioch, confronted the well-known Apostle Peter about this very same subject and clearly rebuked him about this issue.
So here, of course, they want you to think that Peter was rebuked for even, looking down on Gentiles and all that type of stuff, right? When they don't want you to understand that the Gentiles he was looking down on were his own flesh and blood, right? Wasn't real Greeks. They were Greeks like Titus, right? Or Timothy, folks who grew up Greek but weren't Greeks. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, and he's referring to Galatians chapter 2, just one chapter before the chapter that we're going to be speaking about today, right? For those of you that don't know that account between Peter and Paul, right? So you can read the whole chapter of Galatians chapter 2. That'll basically give you that account right there that he was talking about, where Paul rebukes Peter, right? So yeah.
So the question now still remains, why can't we make a nice blend mixing law and faith? That's what we'll see in this video. The Galatians' problems with the law is linked to two key areas, the conversion and sanctification. Conversion, or justification, is dealt with in chapter 3 and 4, and sanctification in chapter 5 and 6. Okay, so let's go. Firstly, Paul uses the argument of personal experiences. He asked the Galatians this question: have you received his new life, which you live in the Spirit by keeping the law? Obviously not, because it was preached to them through the gospel. Secondly, by keeping the law, they weren't entitled to inherit the promises of Abraham because they weren't his descendants. Access was only obtained through identification with Christ, that is, through believing in him. As a result, they are in him and therefore children of Abraham. But things are not...
Do you see this? So that's something else they want you to believe. Here, let me rewind that and break that down. Just want y'all to get that. Let's start here.
The argument of personal experiences. He asked the Galatians this question: have you received his new life, which you live in the Spirit by keeping the law? Obviously not, because it was preached to them through the gospel. Secondly, by keeping the law, they weren't entitled to inherit the promises of Abraham because they weren't his descendants. Access.
So, instead of it being a situation where it's like, hey, brothers and sisters aren't keeping the law, or they are keeping the law rather, right? They were, taught to keep the law, and that's what they've held on to, right? So much so that they basically forgot about faith, forgot about believing in Hamashiach Yahushua, because they're putting all their faith in the law and whether they uphold the law and how well they uphold the law and all that type of stuff, right? Just not even thinking about the faith, the Old Testament brothers. So these people, right? Basically, look at them as the church of Galatia. You feel what I'm saying? So these brothers and sisters, as hard-headed as they are, right? We know we've dealt with it before, and there's no new thing under the sun. That's why we can speak like this, right? So let's just use them because they're the closest thing to the type of example I could give you here, right? Instead of it being a situation where they just aren't trying to grasp faith, and Paul's having to teach them about the promise that Abraham got wasn't because he was technically doing a law. Him following something had something to do with it, but it was technically because of his faith, and his faith in what the Most High said to him is what caused him to follow those laws, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and I'll explain that more in depth as we go on today. But you heard what the Edomite here said, right? The reason they didn't follow the law is the way that they explained it in church, by the way. The way that they explained it is the reason, the Galatians didn't follow the law was because they weren't the sons of Abraham. So they didn't have to, you know what I'm saying? Which has nothing to do with Abraham's promise in the first place. Let's rewind that.
Law. They weren't entitled to inherit the promises of Abraham because they weren't his descendants.
So he said that they weren't even entitled to inherit the promises of Abraham because they're not his descendants, right? That don't even make any sense. It's the Christians that say we're all descendants of Abraham. Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham, right? That's the song they made. but not that. Yeah, okay.
Access was only obtained through identification with Christ, that is, through believing in Him. As a result, they are in Him and therefore children of Abraham. But things are not as easy as all that with the blessing. The law was later introduced because man claimed, sure, I can handle this, but it came.
So the law was later introduced to people that aren't descendants of Abraham, but the law was given to the Israelites who are descendants of Abraham. Do y'all understand how confusing this is? Okay, just making sure. Moving on.
Back to bite them, as there's absolutely no way they could keep the law. That's why Christ died as a substitute for all people. And Abraham.
Wait, what? How did he segue there? Hold on.
Abraham because they weren't his descendants. Access was only obtained through identification with Christ, that is, through believing in Him. As a result, they are in Him and therefore children of Abraham. But things are not as easy as all that with the blessing. The law was later introduced because man claimed, sure, I can handle this, but it came back to bite them, as there's absolutely no way they could keep the law. That's why Christ died as a substitute for all people. And
so he said, man couldn't keep the law, or the Galatians couldn't keep the law, even though they tried, they couldn't keep it. And this is why Christ had to die for all mankind. So we went from talking about people that aren't descendants of Abraham, that somehow became Christians and put on Christ, and now they're descendants of Abraham, and people who got the law but weren't descendants of Abraham, even though the law was given to a certain specific descendant of Abraham. Not seeds of many, but seeds of one. Isaac, Jacob, yeah. So that happened, but according to him, they weren't descendants of Abraham, and Jesus died for all people. And those people that he died for, all people, they got the law but couldn't keep it. That's what he said.
Abraham's blessing can flow once again. So the Apostle Paul is thinking, why would you want to go back to the law when it's the very thing that you have been freed from? Fourthly,
so he's teaching that Paul now, after knowing all this information that he just gave, is teaching, so why would you guys want to go back to the law when this is what you're afraid from? That's what he said. You heard him.
God made Abraham a promise before he gave the law. So logically, the promise can't possibly come from the law. Lastly, the law and the promise are completely different in their origin and in their purpose. In the case of the law, it was given by angels into the hand of a middleman, aka Moses. On the contrary, God made his promise to Abraham's descendant. That descendant was Christ, and Christ is God. And this promises.
So the promise that God made through Abraham's descendant, it wasn't a promise to Isaac and then Jacob and then Jacob's sons. Nah, forget all of them, right? The Christians teach that this promise went straight to Christ. So bump the Israelites, right? We're all sons of Father Abraham spiritually because Jesus died for everybody, right? That's what they say. So I'm gonna let them say two more things, and then we gonna get to teaching.
Took place within the Trinity, and there is no middleman because God is one. But does that mean that faith and law are rival systems? No, because to say that they form a competition would mean we're comparing two similar things, which is not the case at all. The purpose of faith is to bring life through Christ. The law would in all circumstances condemn us to jail. That's how guilty we all are. But then Christ Jesus gives us the keys. So don't go back to the law because you will end up right back in jail. The only solution is to die with Christ, which is what we express through our baptism and then put on Christ.
So they teach, finally, in closing, that you don't want to go back to the law, even though they, according to us, never had it, which we'll prove, right? they don't want to go back to the law because they couldn't keep it. And when you tried to keep it, it had you in prison every time you tried to keep it and you failed, right? So they're also implying that the curses that, Moses explained to the Israelites that they skipped, they're implying that these curses just somehow fell on everybody, right? So we have to just assume that that's what the deal is because we know about the curses, right? Being people who study the Bible. And we know that the curses apply to the people that sin, right? And some of those curses can result in you dying and all those type of things, right? So for these people to get the laws and to be breaking them, they must also be going through the curses, right? So he's saying we've done away with that stuff, and we don't want to go back to the law because that'll put us back in prison. So we just let all that go. We put on Christ, and we let Him take on the curses, right? That's why He died on the cross for all people. Okay, so that's the Christian breakdown. All right, everybody understand that? Put a 7 in the chat if you understand that. Damn, this thing is freezing on me. Okay, here it is. Put a 7 in the chat if you understand that. That's where the Christians come from, right? They're trying to teach you that, one, Paul is not an Israelite. He's a cracker with a tank from Rome, right? With a mullet. 2, Hamashiach Yahushua died for all people. And that promise with Abraham, it ain't with one seed, Isaac, it's with one seed, Christ. Forget Jacob. 12 tribes? Nah. All tribes. How about that? Christ. That's what they want you to see. Three, Paul is a prophet to the non-Jews. So the gospel, right, that Paul is teaching is for these people to be able to come in because this whole time they didn't know that they were the children of God. But now they're being given the opportunity to be adopted as sons, right? So they use all of Paul's adoptive words and adoptive phrases and adoptive scriptures to bring this in. Okay? That's the Christian doctrine. That's their belief. And that's the main reason they will be using Galatians 3 for anything. We're going to break down the entire chapter because that's how they like to do things, right? It's going to be quick, but it's going to be in depth, right? So, like I said, y'all hit the like button as y'all come in. Y'all give me Galatians chapter 3. Somebody else give me Paul. Somebody else give me Romans chapter 10 and verse 12. But I want Galatians chapter 3 and verse 1. Whoever gonna get that.
This book of Galatians 3 and 1. Oh, foolish
Yes.
Galatians, who have the rich.
So El Issachar, that's correct. They teach the opposite of what Hamashiach said, right? The thing is, it's confusing to people that don't actually understand what Hamashiach said, right? Or even what Paul said, because it's not really them not understanding what Mashiach said. A lot of them understand what Jesus said, right? Hamashiach Yahushua said. They don't understand what Paul is saying. And Peter explained this, right? He said that they'll twist what Paul said because it's hard to understand, right? And they'll use certain things to, their own destruction. That's how it works with Paul's writing, right? And the whole Christian church has used Paul's writing to destroy themselves because they got everybody thinking you're saved. They got everybody thinking they don't follow that they don't have to follow the law. When Paul wasn't technically saying that, I'm gonna tell you guys what Paul was saying, and I'm gonna prove it to you with the scriptures that Paul was using to say, right? Because I'm gonna admit, Israelites don't really do that. You feel me? So what Paul was doing was he was teaching them not to put all their weight on the law, so much weight that they don't use their faith to push them to the law and through the law, right? For example, if we look at what Abraham did, what was Abraham's main objective? Like what's he known for? One of you brothers tell me. What did Abraham do?
He was about to sacrifice his son. He had faith. He was.
Okay, before that, the Most High got in contact with Abraham. What did Abraham do to show the Most High, hey, initially, that he might be a dude that listen. This nigga ain't like the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? What'd he do?
Salaki, you talking about Genesis 12 when he left his whole family?
That's what I'm talking about. Somebody explain that. You don't got to give me the scripture right now, but just explain that. What did he do?
Father Abraham, man, the Lord came to him, said, "Get thee out of this country and sojourn in a strange land that thy father had not known." So Abraham believed and went. He didn't question the Most High. He didn't say, "Well, I got to leave everybody behind." He just grabbed his wife, his nephew Lot, a couple servants, and he was out.
All right. Now the question is, right, to really dig deep into what he said, because it's not deep, but it is deep, right? He said that Abraham believed and he went, right? So that's two things there, right? Two actions. But one invokes faith, the other one is, an action, right? Something you're doing. If the Most High commanded, hey, I want you to get up and go to this land, leave your family behind, leave your gods, all that type of stuff. And he gets up, okay, you the Most High? I'm not some demon in my, what? What's going on? Okay. He got faith, he gets up, he's gone, right? So his faith in what he was hearing caused him to go, right? And follow the commandment of what he was hearing. He got a commandment. He followed the commandment because he had faith in what he heard. You understand that? So it's no different in what Paul was telling to the Galatians, especially in chapter 3. He's explaining to them, hey, faith comes from hearing. The promise that was given to us, right? It was heard way before the law was invoked. The person who got the promise, he was given the law, but he used that faith, right, to cause him to follow his commandment that he was given as a law, right? He got up and left as a law because of his faith in what he was told, his faith in the promise that he was given by the Most High. And he followed it because of his faith in that promise, right? That's the point. It wasn't, I'm going to follow this law and, that's it. I'm going to get what I want because I followed the law. No, he had faith, and his faith caused him to follow the law. That's how it's supposed to be for us. We're supposed to have faith in what Hamashiach Yahushua did for us, and that's supposed to cause us to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That's supposed to cause you to want to wear fringes because it says in the book to wear it throughout your generations. It's supposed to cause you to want to keep the feast days, keep the Feast of Tabernacle, keep the Feast of Dedication. You know what I'm saying? Keep the new moons that we got tomorrow, right? Yeah, we got a new moon tomorrow. Y'all want to come through? Come through. RSVP. We already got a location. We're going to be eating food, celebrating, congregating like you're supposed to do on a new moon. I told you guys we was going to do that last week. Thought I forgot? It's a new moon tomorrow. Why are we doing a new moon? Because we have faith, right? So it's invoking us to keep laws, to do things that we're supposed to do according to the Bible. Because we have faith. It's making us want to do it. We have faith that we ourselves are the children of God. Right? It is our spirit that quickens it. Why do we believe what we think our spirit's saying? Because we have faith. The spirit didn't write down on a piece of paper, you're from the tribe of Gad. You're from the tribe of Judah. You're from the tribe of Benjamin. You're from the tribe of Issachar. You have faith. Right? And you're going off that faith to believe what you think you are. So it's the same thing with the law. But if it's not explained to you like that, you're not going to understand it. That's what Paul was explaining to the Galatians. All right? Galatians chapter 3, verse 1. Let's get it.
Galatians 3 and 1. O foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Hamashiach Yahushua had been evidently set forth, crucified among you.
Right? Obey the truth, right? As if to see that, hey, Mashiach Yahushua was crucified in front of you. You know he died. You know he died for you. You know why he died, right? Truth here could be looked at both ways. You know that they're obeying the law, but are they obeying the law of faith? Because technically what Paul's going to explain is faith was given before the actual law. And then he explained it through Abraham, right? Y'all want to look at the law so much. What about the law of faith? The law that was given 400 whatever years after it doesn't disannul the one that came before, the promise. How did he get the promise? Through faith. Oh, that's why he was explaining you're saved through faith. To the Old Testament people, though, they won't understand that. That's blasphemy. You're giving. No, it's not. That's the Bible, you dummy. And we got to start teaching it like that. That's the facts. Yes, we are Christians. We are the Christians, the real ones, the sons of thunder Israelites, right? The Israelites are the Christians, Peter Pasel, Salakia, or sorry if I said your name incorrectly. How's my connection? I still sound good? Because it's giving me look. All right, bet. All right, but keep going. Keep reading. Let's teach.
Verse 2.
Oh, so Salaki. So
Huh?
I don't want you saying because of Abraham's faith, he was granted access to perfection. Thus came that law because of his faith.
His
He
faith
was
was
given
counted
a
as righteousness.
con.
You know what I'm saying? His faith was counted as righteousness. Yep. So, all right, go ahead. Verse 2.
Come. This only
Peter,
what I
listen
learned.
up. We're going to teach you how to become a Christian. Paul explained it. Go ahead.
This only what I learned of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith.
Hey, Peter Pasel, being a Christian is a two-way thing, right? You kind of got to be born one, and then you got to wake back up to it if you ain't know you was one before. The real term for Christian is called Hebrew Israelite, right? And we got tribes. You got to tell us what your father's nationality is. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know if you're a Christian or become a Christian, so to speak, right? It's like a bloodline fraternity. You got to be part of it to be able, you know what I'm saying, to be able to participate. All right. So it says, this only what I learn you, receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith, right? That's what he asked him. How'd you guys receive the Spirit? Was it by you guys working the law, or was it by the hearing of faith, right? How did Abraham receive the Spirit? Was it because he got up and left, or was it because he heard first? And him hearing gave him the Spirit to get up and leave. Is that what it was? That's what we got to think about, right? Give me Romans chapter 10, verse 12 right quick, right? Because we got to understand. Paul explained this too. It's a blessed thing for people to be able to hear, right? Hear the gospel, hear the truth, hear that they're Israelites according to the Bible, hear that they're the real Christians, right? No. Not like a cult, Peter. See, this is the thing, right? People like Peter don't understand what's really going on here, right? They get misconstrued and make statements like this. Oh, it's a cult, without understanding. No, we're the people of the Bible. We're literally going to be reading what the Bible says. A cult is the Christian church. See, they'll tell you what that Edomite said in the video that we played at the beginning, right? That all people are Israelites and stuff like that, and that the promise wasn't through Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. It was from Abraham to Christ, right? That's what he said in the video. We got proof. You can rewind it. Rewind the video that you're watching right now, right? You'll hear him say it 3 times because I let him say it that many times. So that's cultish, right? When you believe something that's not even written in a book, but you teach it for hundreds of years and not millions of people believe what you teach, but it's not even in the book that you're teaching from, right? So we're the real Christians because we come out here and we teach what the book actually says to the people that the book actually belongs to. And they're retaking the book and reclaiming their heritage, right? And they're leaving the Christian church that's been lying to them all this time. The real cult, right? So Like that. Romans chapter 10, verse 12.
So book of Romans chapter 10 and verse 12. For there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek. For the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him.
Keep going. Read the 18.
Con. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Mm-hmm.
How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed?
You see that? Now hold on a second. Now we know
Mhm.
that in Acts, right? He made this same statement, and he told them, whoever call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. And he explained it to ye men of Israel. Hear these words, right? So we already understand the context. The Israelites do, the real Christians, you know what I'm saying? But for people like Peter in the building, yes, Peter, right? If you are not an Israelite, you cannot be saved. And the Israelites are not saved right away automatically. Just to go ahead and get that question out the way, we have to endure to the end to be saved, because that's what Paul taught us, right? That's what Hamashiach Yahushua taught us. That's what the apostles taught us. That's what the prophets taught us, right? There's going to be Jacob's trouble, trials and tribulations. There's a fire that we got to be tried in, and we have to endure that to the end to be saved, not dumped in some water to be saved. You feel what I'm saying? Keep reading up.
Con. Verse 14 of Romans 10. How then shall they call upon him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written. Con.
So how they gonna hear without a preacher, man? How they gonna know about the gospel and everything that's being spoken about if they, haven't heard it? The truth, right? You have to hear the truth to be able to look it up and actually read it and understand what's being said, the way it's being said, right? You don't even know what's really being said because the way your preacher is teaching it with his book closed, it's not even in the Bible. You just assuming that's what has to be being mentioned because every preacher in the world teach it like that, right? So it's like, hey, but then you hop on YouTube or you see these Israelites on the streets and you hear them preaching the Bible, right? They're going against the Jehovah's Witnesses of wickedness, right? They're going against the Mormons. They're going against the Christian church, the Eric Masons, the TD Jake Snakes, right? The Creflo Holla for the Dollars, right? They're looking at all these different people, the Joyce Myers and all these different folks. And we're cutting down their doctrines, teaching the Bible the correct way, taking their congregations from them, all that type of stuff, right? And people are actually understanding what the book says now. So yeah, just to give you, tight question and to stay on topic of what we're talking about. If you're not an Israelite, you can't be saved, right? That's big facts. Keep reading.
Con. As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. But they have not all obeyed the gospel, for Isaiah saith, Lord, who have believed our report? So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God.
Faith cometh by doing.
Faith cometh by hearing.
Yeah. No. Faith cometh by doing, brother. You got to do the law to get the faith. You do the law and then you get the faith.
So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God.
Right? How did y'all understand the Bible? How did y'all get to understand that y'all were Israelites, rather? Right? Y'all heard it from somebody or heard it from somewhere or read it somewhere or something. You looked it up. You found the information that you looked up to be true, right? Came from hearing. And in that faith from whatever you heard or saw or researched, whatever it is, it built up over time. And now you're on YouTube taking notes. Now you might be a teacher somewhere in a camp, somewhere in another state. Might be a teacher with the Sons of Thunder, a soldier, a captain, an elder, right? But it all started with your faith. And that built up over time, right? Just like the damn Christians. They was in the world. They was atheists. They come out. Hey, I found Jesus. Because the pastor told you, hey, son, you need to get your life together. Have you met Jesus before? Have you accepted him into your life, son? Oh, God. Do you know Jesus? Then he take you into the damn store in the back of the dang room, and now you know Jesus, right? You coming out dumped in water, golden, and all that type of stuff. It's all because you heard. And that's where your faith came from. Now you done joined the church, the real coat. You're wearing a suit, right? Bow tie, necktie, shiny shoes. Your wife got on the big hat. You understand what I'm saying? You're doing all of that stuff because you heard. And even though you look stupid in that outfit going every Sunday, the wrong day, by the way, you going on the wrong day, happy-go-lucky, celebrating Easter, not in the Bible, celebrating Christmas, not in the Bible, celebrating Thanksgiving, not in the Bible, 4th of July, right? All of that stuff. Happy-go-lucky, and you got faith doing it. Because they telling you. And it built up over time. You had faith. Now you don't even want to look it up. You don't even care if it's in the Bible or not. You got so much faith that you're doing the right thing. Forget what them niggas saying on the street. Yeah, Halloween. You feel me? It's all based off your faith. There's good faith and bad faith. Right faith and wrong faith. But it's all faith. And the things that you do is based off your faith. Faith comes from hearing. Right? You had faith in the alcohol. That's what made you an alcoholic. You had faith in the blunts. Why you couldn't put it down? Had faith in the car. That's why you hop in it and go to work instead of walking. You know what I'm saying? It's all based off your faith. You don't do the thing and then gain the faith. You get the faith and then do the thing. Like Abraham. That's what we're supposed to do when it pertains to the law. That's why we should never stop if we really have faith. You feel me? Keep reading. You at 18 yet? Because I forgot.
Nah, lie.
All right, go ahead. Oh, yeah.
Book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 18. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words into the ends of the world.
You see that? And that's what has to happen, man. This sound is going to go out to the end of the earth. This word is going to be preached to the end of the world, right? It's got to be preached to all earth for this thing to be over with. And we close, believe it or not. A lot closer than a lot of y'all think. Give me Hebrews chapter 4 and 2, right? Just to show you guys. There's people who have faith, and their faith causes them not to hear the truth, right? Like the Christians. Some of the people in this chat right now, right? They have faith in the wrong things, and it causes them to err, right? Hebrews chapter 4, verse 2. Quick on the sword.
Hebrews 4 and 2. For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them.
It did not what? Profit them, not being mixed with what?
With faith.
You see that? The word didn't profit them, not being mixed with faith. Some people got faith, but it's not the right stuff. So that faith is basically not counted as faith. It shouldn't be, right? You ain't got faith in the Mashiach Yahushua, the real one. You know what I'm saying? Think this is a code. We actually have faith in, the black Messiah, the real one. Okay? So there's faith or people that don't profit from their faith or lack thereof, right? Or the faith that they have that's, so heavily engrossed in other things. So it ends up putting them on a different pedestal. You know what I'm saying? That's the Christian church. Y'all are on a pedestal, but it's a pedestal for doing the wrong things, having the wrong type of faith. Your faith doesn't make you do any laws, doesn't make you keep any commandments. Your faith allows you to be as wicked as you want to be. Our faith causes us to keep the law. And that's the type of faith Paul wanted us to have. That's the faith he wanted us to teach to people. That's the faith that Abraham had. And the sons of Abraham will be as faithful Abraham. right? So let's go back to Galatians 3. Let's pick up at verse 3.
Galatians 3:3. Are ye so foolish, having begun in the spirit? Are ye now made perfect by the flesh? Have ye suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain? He therefore that ministereth to you in the spirit, and worketh miracles among you, doeth he it by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith?
You see that? Did the Mashiach Yahushua do what he did by the works of the law or the hearing of faith? Right? Did Abraham do what he did by the works of the law or the hearing of faith? Did Elisha and Elijah and, Samson, did any of them brothers do what they did by the workings of the law, or was it based off their faith? Go ahead, Doc.
Salaki, when you said that out of one, like when Christ had healed the eyes of the blind man, and he told him to keep it a secret, but he went throughout all Judea and out the land, telling them of this great miracle. So many people wanted to come see the works also. So they had to hear it to believe, because this man was blind, or this person was dealt with an ailment, or he had leprosy, or she had the issue of blood. They heard of the works and they had to believe and they had to come see. So
Yeah, man, that's facts. You know what I'm saying? So we begun in the spirit, right? But we as Israelites, the reason it's so hard for us to get to a lot of Christians, honestly, is because they've got this. Christians have the at least the concept of doing things based off the spirit and faith. They have the concept down pat. The way they do it is off, right? It's wrong. But the concept they have is they got it down pat, right? It's just with them, it's all faith, no action, right? All faith, no works, dead. You feel? Your faith is supposed to invoke works. Faith should cause works, right? He said that if we go back to Romans chapter 10, verse 12, let me go there right quick. I'm going to read it. He said, I'm going to start here. He said, how then shall they, verse 14, Romans 10 and 14, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher, right? So that's all them hearing the stuff. That's how they're going to gain the faith, with the preaching, right? How does the preacher become the preacher, though? He heard the same thing they heard, and then his steps went out and did the thing. His faith caused him to go and teach the word that he heard, right? That's why he says, blessed are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings to the good teaching. Of the good things, right? Those people are blessed. Their feet are blessed. Their emotions are blessed because they actually used the faith that they had, and it caused them to go out and teach people and bring in fruit, right? To wake up the people, to try to bring life to the dry bones. You feel me? That's who we are. Not the preachers of the Christian church. I'm talking about us. If y'all didn't realize that. The Israelites. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. All right. Back to Galatians. Keep reading to verse 6. If you ain't do that. If you did, give me Philippians chapter 1, verse 18.
This is verse 6.
Bet.
Even as Abraham believed Yahweh, and it was accounted to him for righteousness.
You see that? So we said that earlier. It was accounted to him for righteousness, right? Abraham believed the Most High, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. Why? Because his belief caused him to get up and leave. Forget what everybody else is saying, right? We could go further than that. Noah, the ark, his faith, everybody living their life, doing their thing, but I'm gonna make this ark. My kids gonna help me. I don't care who tripping, who's wilding out on us because we doing this thing for however long it's gonna take us. This is what it is. Most I said it's gonna happen. I need to prepare for it. We gonna do it. His faith caused him to make a big old boat, and he did it. Everybody's scoffing him. Everybody and their mama on earth. You understand me? Everybody's scoffing him. But his faith caused him to stick with it. And everybody else died. Can't swim. Okay? So faith should invoke you to do certain things. It should cause you to have works. And in this day and age, your work should be the law. That's what we have to base our works off of. The law that Abraham had to base his works off of was the commandment he was given by the Most High. We have commandments we were given by the Most High to test our faith. Right? Every year you get a Day of Atonement for breaking those commandments that test your faith. And it's also a test of faith to keep that Day of Atonement. How about that? It's a test of faith to keep the feast days and the holy days, the high holy days at that, right? Because that's what they are. They're high holy days. The highest days in the land for the holiest people, the only holy people, rather, in the land. The set apart ones, the Israelites, the seed of one, not of many, right? The chosen, not the heathen. Feel me? Let's move on. Philippians 1:18.
Come. It's the book of Philippians, chapter 1 and verse 18. Say, what then? Notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached, and I therein do rejoice, yea, and will rejoice.
So that's what needs to happen, man. Christ needs to be preached more by Israelites. And we need to rejoice in the teaching of him. Not so much teaching the law, but more so the glorifying of Christ. Because we need to get people to understand that this is where their faith needs to reside. Just like their faith was all in Jesus in the church, your faith still needs to be in Jesus or Hamashiach Yahushua, right? Once you learn his name, once you become an Israelite too. And that faith should cause you to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That's the facts. That faith in Hamashiach Yahushua should be what invokes you to keep the commandments of the Most High. And that's what Paul was teaching. That's what we have to get the people to understand. That's the mystery of Paul's teachings. He wasn't saying do away with the law. We don't need it. He was saying don't put all your weight in the law. Don't have your faith be the law. Your faith, make that be in Hamashiach Yahushua, and let that cause you to follow the law, to keep the law, right? Let your faith be counted as your righteousness. And your righteousness is the law, which endureth forever. Psalm 119, 142. So if our righteousness, which now endureth forever, since Abraham didn't have the law, right? So to speak, to endure forever, he had a law, but not the law, right? So because he didn't have that to endure forever, and we do now, he had his law to follow. We have our laws to follow. His was based off his faith. Ours need to be based off our faith. Our faith should invoke us to keep the laws. That's the facts. If we're the sons of Abraham. Right? Because Abraham's faith was counted to as his righteousness. And the sons of Abraham will do as Abraham. Keep reading. What is that?
Come, verse 19. For I know that this shall turn to my salvation through your prayer and the supply of the spirit of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Come, keep going.
According to my earnest expectation and my hope, that in nothing I shall be ashamed, but that with all boldness, as always, so now also Hamashiach shall be magnified in my body, whether it be by life or by death.
Right. So we have to not magnify Hamashiach Yahushua, man. Right? Because he's the whole reason we are here. It's honestly faith in him that caused us to be Israelites. unless you're Old Testament. But even then, they have a faith in the Mashiach Yahweh. They just don't know it. You know what I'm saying? They have faith in him too. They just don't know it because he was the one speaking from the beginning, right? So that's what Paul was teaching, to magnify him. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, while you're magnifying him, let that faith that you have while magnifying him, let that invoke you to keep the laws.
It's lucky.
Go ahead.
Hey, there's a couple of things that Karaite Israelites for Truth brought up that I feel like are important. I hope the brother, if you're gonna be here for the end of the class, then I think we should tap into his question. His first question was, what did it mean to be dead to the law? But I feel like we need to keep going first.
Okay, hold on. I want to say this. Karaite Israelites for Truth, just because, you know, I don't know what your perspective is, but I already see you trying to say that Paul taught us to eat foods that are offered, taught it was okay to eat foods that were offered to idols. I'm going to go ahead and cut that just so folks know you don't know what you're talking about, and then we're going to move on with the lesson. We could go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10 in verse 16, right? Just 2 chapters after that, since that's what he thinks his interpretation of 1 Corinthians chapter 8 is, right? And we'll see specifically what Paul says specifically about offering to idols, right? And how he doesn't think that's a good thing. And how he even calls it, you know, partaking at the table of devils if you did such a thing, which means that you must be a brother that doesn't understand the New Testament, that doesn't understand what Paul was writing, right? And now you're twisting it to your own destruction, which is exactly what I mentioned at the beginning. Brothers and sisters need to stop doing this. You know what I'm saying? They need to stop doing this. Get 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 18.
Khan, the book of First Corinthians chapter 10, verse 18. Behold, Israel after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? What say I then? That the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything?
So
but
doesn't it sound like he's talking about offering foods that are sacrificed to idols? Doesn't sound like off rip that he's talking about it being something we're allowed to do. Right? Keep going. Let's see what else he says.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils.
Oh, so he's telling you now what the Gentiles sacrifice, they offer to idols, and they're sacrificing to devils, right? To deceivers. Things you shouldn't be sacrificing yourself to. Fake gods, right? Go ahead.
They sacrifice to devils and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
Right. And I should not that ye should have fellowship with devils, aka ye should not partake with anything or anybody offering any foods to idols. Keep going.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
No, you can drink the cup of the Lord because it's the cup of devils. That's because Paul taught we could do that. That's what he said.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
No, you could drink the cup of devils because it's the cup of the Lord.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
Okay, so he makes a distinction between the two tables. Obviously, he's saying that if you offer anything to idols or to devils or to fake gods or to false, prophets or anything like that, then you're offering to idols, and that we should not do that. That would not be partaking in the table of the Most High. You can't sit at the Most High's table and sit at the table with devils. And if you do that, you're partaking in the idol of the altar thereof. So you might as well be partaking in their sacrifice. That's what he said. Okay. So I know it's hard for brothers to understand that don't actually read the Bible for real, but you can't just make statements on the platform where we're teaching the Bible for real. You feel what I'm saying? Just let me teach and ask your questions later. All right. Let's move on. Galatians chapter 3, verse 7.
Galatians 3:7. Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham. And the scripture, foreseeing that Yahweh would justify the heathen through faith, preached before the gospel unto Abraham, saying,
So like,
indeed,
my bad. Read verse 7 again.
know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham.
So you heard me say that, right? They that are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham, right? So it's a certain specific faith you have to have, not the faith that was brought about in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 2, right? The faith that profits you nothing because you don't really believe in nothing, right? You're the Christian cult, you feel me? Your faith invokes you to not make any works be done, right? To not do anything but be wicked. You feel what I'm saying? No laws. So that's what he's talking about. But the real children of faithful Abraham will be as faithful Abraham. You feel me? Give me John chapter 8, verse 39. And somebody else give me Romans chapter 4 and verse 16. But obviously keep Galatians open because we're gonna go back to that.
Comes the book of John, chapter 8, and verse 39. They answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Yahushua said unto them, if ye were Abraham's children, ye would do the works of Abraham.
You see that? If ye were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham, right? The Christians let us say that they're Abraham's children. We're sons of Abraham, right? Israelites don't say that. But then again, Israelites don't really got the faith that Abraham got all the time. If we're going to be the children of Abraham, which are the children of Israel, right? We got to have the faith that Abraham had. And our faith is going to invoke us to do the laws. Shouldn't be no Israelites teaching we ain't got to wear no fringes because fringes is part of the law. And if you really got faith, you're going to do that. Shouldn't be no Israelites teaching we ain't got to keep no feast days because if you really have faith, it would make you want to keep the feast days. Yo, I'm an Israelite. I should be doing this. No matter what the hell nobody say, right? This is my culture. I should keep the damn feast days. What the hell I'm participating in American shit for? Don't make no sense. Right? You're changing your name on all the social media sites, say Yasha Allah, why you ain't acting like one? Where's your faith? Where's your works that come with the faith? Right? Faith without works is dead. That's what Paul was teaching.
So
You feel me? Go ahead.
Carolite, Israelites for truth.
Hey, no.
I'm not.
Israelites for truth.
I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. All I wanted to tell him was, you said read 1 Corinthians 8, 1 through 13. I need you to read 1 Corinthians 8, verse 2. That's what you need to read. We're going to leave it at that.
I'm going to read for him. 1 Corinthians 8 and 2. And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing, yet as he ought to know. Right? You don't understand what Paul was saying as you ought to understand. You have a zeal for Paul, but not according to knowledge. Now be quiet, Carolite, or they're going to put you in timeout. Okay? Now, let's get back to the scriptures, please. Galatians chapter 3, verse 7.
This book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse 7. Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham.
Right? So they that are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to have a specific faith to be like the children of Abraham, to be the children of Abraham. It's a specific faith that comes with that. And that faith is going to invoke you to do the works. That faith is going to allow you to know that the Most High ain't going to put nobody in the Bible and have it be transmitted and be the most written, copied book in the world that's teaching the Israelites they could do wickedness. As these niggas is telling you Paul is teaching. Don't make no sense. No faith. Right? That don't even make no sense. Yo. Yeah. That was John 8:39, correct? Give me Romans chapter 4 and 16.
Come on, I got it. This book of Romans chapter 4 and verse 16. Therefore, it is of faith that it might be by grace, to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed, not to that only which is of the law, but to that also which is of faith, of the faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all.
You see that? That's verse 17, right?
Nah, this is verse 17.
Verse 17.
As it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations, before him whom he believed, even Yahweh, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those things which be not as though they were.
Keep reading. Read that again.
117 again,
Yeah, Khan.
verse 17. As it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations, before him whom he believed, even Yahweh, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those things which be not as though they were.
You see that? So Romans chapter 4, verse 16, right? I want the scoffers in the chat to read this, right? Romans 4 and 16. Therefore, it is of faith that it might be by grace, right? There's a grace period that you get based off faith, right? It's not just, yo, I'm a Christian. We got grace. Grace is forever. And, yeah, I got faith in Jesus. So as long as I got faith in Jesus till I die, I'm immediately going to be in heaven. I'm saved. I believe in Jesus. Thank you, God. That's what it's like to be a Christian. That's not biblical, right? Your faith has to cause you to do something, as it caused Abraham to do something. That's why the law endureth forever, because it's there for you to show your faith, to prove your faith, right? The men of the law will live by them. The men of faith will live by them, right? Your faith is gonna be justified by the law. Your faith in the things that you do with your faith shall be counted as your righteousness, as Father Abraham, right? If there's nothing done to show your faith, then what righteousness are you going to be counted for? Nothing. Go ahead, all right?
Khan, I don't want to land me back. The book of Sirach, chapter 44, verse 19 through 20. Abraham was a great father of many people, and
Hey,
glory.
Right. Send him the link, because he ain't going to shut up. I'm going to send you the link. Want to play games?
It's about to be easy.
Play games. Play games. Just play games. Just trying to do it. All right. Salaki. So, Romans chapter 4, verse 16 and 17, right? Therefore, it is of faith that it might be by grace to the end of the promise might be sure to all the seed, right? So in order for all the seed to get this promise, there needs to be a grace period, right? Within that grace period, they're going to be given a chance to invoke their faith. That faith that they're supposed to be regaining in a Mashiach Yahushua, the fact that they're Israelites, due to them receiving the gospel, that's supposed to make them feel good about themselves because they were the children of bondage, that are realizing that they're the children of the free, they're the people that the world was built for. You understand what I'm saying? That's what the deal is here. So, like, these people, the Israelites, they're going to be in a situation where they're the only seed in this grace period, because they were given the law, the only people, not like the Edomite was saying earlier, right? They're the only people that were given the law, so they're the only people that are going to be given this grace period to regain their faith. And in the process of them regaining their faith, it's supposed to cause them to do certain type of works. Those works are supposed to be the righteous acts that they're supposed to be rehearsing in the name of the Lord by Shema Mashiach Yahushua in the land of drawing water, or in the places of their captivity, right? Where they shall remember themselves, as Baruch told us, right? So everything's coming together. That's what the book is about. And Paul basically just summarized everything in all the different books that he wrote, and all the different letters that he wrote, based off of the problems that the church has had. This church had the Old Testament only problem. They love the law, but got no faith. Yes to Moses, no to Yahushua, right? And that's been, not to say that's the problem with Israel, but that's the problem with Israel. One West started as a Old Testament thing, the commandment keepers. And we still kind of got that vibration. That's why Christians just don't understand what we're saying, because they feel the vibration. They don't understand we teach Christ, y'all don't. But it's basically because of the way we teach Christ. We don't magnify him like they do. We magnify Moses.
It's like it.
Go ahead. What is my eye?
This is the last time I'm gonna say something to you. Don't type anything else in the chat. Here's the link. There you go. That's all you had to do. Thank you. You're now here. Okay, there we go.
Question. I want to ask him a question. Hey, bro, what's your problem, bro? What's good? You there, Kara, right? Ezra? Hello? Shalom, shalom. How about Shim Yabashar Barakatah?
You probably got to leave and come back in.
Hold
I'll
on.
put in the link in the chat.
Yeah. Hit the link again. All right. Hit the link again. So, I don't know why y'all do that. Y'all be wasting my time and stuff. Like, come on now. Back to the book. Galatians. So, I mean, that's what I wanted y'all to see there, right? That's what we have to do. It's a grace period that we're supposed to be getting. You understand what I'm saying? And the children of Abraham, the faithful ones who have faith like Abraham, they're the ones that's going to get it. He's the father of us all. Our faith should be like Abraham's faith, right? As it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations. Before him who he believed, even God who quickeneth the dead and calleth those things which be not as they were. So he believed the Most High, and that faith caused him to do what he did. That's why we're where we are. Okay? Ezra, what's good, bro? Hello? Shalom? Okay. Your phone don't work, brother.
Hey Ezra, you gotta when you click the link, you gotta make sure your microphone is working and that it's enabled. You can't just come straight in. So click the link again, leave. I'm gonna take you out of here. Leave, click the link again, make sure your microphone is enabled.
Amen. Honestly, if he can't get it, he can't get it. I got a lesson I'm trying to teach. Forget about Carrot. He got the link. If he gonna use it, he gonna use it. I'm not gonna be worrying about whether he could get on here and talk some stuff or not. I'm gonna finish the lesson. You feel me?
I'm about to kick him off.
Yeah. Galatians chapter 3, verse 8. Let's get back to the scheduled program. Because brothers is coming on, they ain't got the right devices. I'm tired of the mess. You blowing you're blowing me right now, brother. I don't understand it. Pause. but I don't get it. I don't know why y'all on this type of stuff today, bro. You're making statements about Paul. I proved that the first statement you made, you didn't know what you was talking about, because just 2 chapters later, he literally said that it's not good to do the thing that you said that he's teaching us we're allowed to do, verbatim. And you still got stuff to say. And when we call you on stage twice, your junk don't work. Stop the BS, Christians. Okay. Old Testament only people. Faithless generation ye. Galatians chapter 3 and 8.
So Galatians chapter 3, verse 8. And the scripture foreseeing that Yahweh would justify the heathen through faith, preached before the gospel unto Abraham, saying, in thee shall all nations be blessed.
You see that? In thee shall all nations be blessed. You understand what I'm saying? That's what he says. In thee shall all the nations be blessed, right? But how is that the case? How does that happen? There's a stipulation to that, right? They just read that and yeah, man, all the nations will be blessed. If that was your preacher, all the nations are blessed, right? But there's a stipulation to this thing here. Give me Genesis chapter 12 and 3. And Arise, since you're going to be there, you might as well just give me all the Genesis scriptures. And Judah, you stay in Galatians. I got 3 Genesis scriptures to prove what this actually means. Genesis 12 and 3. What does it mean that, he foresaw and, blessed Father Abraham is going to be a father of many nations, right? And through him, all the nations shall be blessed, right? What does it mean that all the nations shall be blessed? Go ahead.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 12 and verse 3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee. And indeed shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Right? I will bless them that bless thee, curse them that curse thee, and in thee all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Right? They read this and yeah, you see, we're all going to be blessed. The reason we're blessed is because the promise was from Abraham to Jesus, and Jesus died on that cross for everybody. Thank you, Jesus. Right? No. Genesis 22:18. You got no patience. Please.
It's the book of Genesis.
Y'all are wasting my time.
The book of Genesis, chapter 22 and verse 18. And in,
go ahead.
And in Genesis chapter 22, verse 18, and in thy seed shall all nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice.
Mm-hmm.
So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together.
Look, he said, in thee shall all the nations of the world be blessed, because ye obeyed my voice, right? Now, give me Genesis 26 and 4, right? It's getting more in depth.
The book of Genesis.
All the nations going to be blessed. Them that curse you going to be cursed, and them that bless you going to be blessed, right? You know what I'm saying? Then he says, based off your offspring, the nation is going to be blessed because of the thing that you did, right? Because you obeyed my voice, right? So now let's get more depth with it. Genesis 26 and 4. How are the other nations going to be blessed? Exactly. What did he mean by these two other scriptures? Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 4. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries.
Oh, damn. Okay, so there's going to be a nation of people that are the top nation, you know, a nation of kings and priests, right? A holy nation, right? So these people are going to be, you know, that nation. And read that again. What did he say?
Genesis 26 and 4. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
Oh, so they're going to be blessed through us owning them. Oh, I got you. So it's like if a slave got a good slave master, he's blessed, right? Because when the wicked rule, the people mourn. But when the righteous rule, the people rejoice, right? So that would mean all the nations of the earth are blessed, right? Them that curse us, they going to get beaten with that rod of iron. Them that bless us, you know, hey, here's a lamb chop. Go fetch. You feel me? You're blessed. You get the crumbs from the master's table. Just like Yahushua told the lady from you know, Tyre and Sidon. You feel me? Do y'all get it now? That's how the other nations get blessed. He explained it 3 different ways in the order, like a movie. Goodness gracious, the Bible is beautiful. Galatians chapter 3. Get back to it, verse 9.
Galatians chapter 3, verse 9.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you get hey, Ezra, what's your problem, bro?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is that you teaching Paul is a righteous prophet when Paul is absolutely a false prophet? You never finished reading 1 Corinthians chapter 10. You cut it off to where the people didn't get the full understanding.
Did you hear the part that I read in 1 Corinthians chapter 10? What part in the part that I read did he say we could sacrifice to idols?
No. I didn't say he said we can sacrifice to idols. I said he said we can eat the foods that are sacrificed to idols.
So again, all right, let me rephrase my question. What part in the part that I read did he say we can eat food sacrificed to idols? Because I'm pretty sure the very first verse that I made us read, verse 18, specifically said, in fact, here, I'll read it for you, just so I don't miss.
Hold on.
Right? The great brother Paul.
Go down. Start at verse 23.
Start where I wanted to start, brother. You can listen or you can hop off the stage. Please.
Okay, but you're going to read the whole chapter.
You're going to be on mute.
Behold, Israel after the flesh are not they which eat, you know, the food, eat, put it in their mouth, chew on it, swallow it, right? Which eat of the sacrifices, partakers of the altar. So he's saying, if you eat it as sacrifice, then you just partake in that. If it was sacrificed to idols, right? And then he's going to go in depth and explain specifically if it was sacrificed to idols. Verse 19, what say I then? That the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to the idols is anything. So what am I talking about? That the food is the problem, or that which is sacrificed to the idol that you're eating as food is the problem? And then he's going to explain it. But I say, or what I mean is, nigga, that the things which the Gentiles or the heathen or the people that are not your people sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils or heathens or false gods or deceivers, not to the Most High Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. And I, Paul, would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. You feel me? So we should not have fellowship with these devils. We should not eat any food that they sacrifice to idols. He literally said that specifically in 4 verses in chapter 10. So there's no reason for me to read what he says, because the Bible says that it doesn't contradict itself. I know Paul didn't contradict himself, and I know that 1 Corinthians doesn't contradict itself. Chapter 10 itself doesn't contradict itself. If anybody reads it, it's very much in line with what the beginning of the scripture says and what the middle of the scripture says, right? We're in verses 18 to 21, and it's telling you literally verbatim, you cannot eat any food sacrificed to idols. Doing so would mean that you sat at the table with devils, and the Most High would not have that you sit at the table with devils. You cannot partake in the devil's table and the master's table. You feel me? He literally said that. So
Right.
What say ye then, Ezra?
I said finish reading, please, or I'll read it if you want me to.
I don't want. Let Ariah just finish it.
Go ahead.
Please.
Ariah.
Yes, please. Yes.
Please. You want me to read it for you,
I was trying to
Ariah?
save you from falling on your sword, Ezra.
Okay.
Can you let name? I like the prophet with that name. You're not doing him justice at this very moment. I want you to know that.
Can you let Soldier of Judah finish reading, please?
Hey, Ariah, you want me to read it?
Yes, it's Ezra, but yes.
No. I'm talking
He
to
wasn't
Ariah.
talking to you, Ezra.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You good, Kenny.
We got very good
Ariah,
eyes.
you can break
We
it
can
down.
go over here.
We're gonna read because this brother just said that Paul is saying that we can eat food sacrificed to idols.
Hey, start at verse 27 to tickle his fancy.
No. Start at verse 23, please.
Yeah, you know what? Start where he want to start.
All right, verse 23.
Okay.
Because look, here's the thing that I want everybody to understand, right?
I appreciate it.
This is the problem. First, I want to get this right, just so everybody knows. What is your biblical lens, Ezra? Are you an Israelite?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe in Jesus Christ, Hamashiach Yahushua, Yahshua, whatever you want to call him?
No, I'm Tanakh only.
Okay, so this is one of the brothers we're speaking about, right? I already figured that because you don't believe in Paul, but I had to ask for the audience to, edify the people. So, just so we know, right? This would be one of the Galatians. The Most High made it manifest as he does every time. Go ahead, I read that scripture.
Because you be paying people. Verse 23.
I do not do that. The Most High pays the people.
Verse 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Here's the point. If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and ye be disposed to go, whatever.
Wait, hold on, just so they understand. If anybody that don't believe the Bible, which means they not going to be praying the prayers we pray, they not going to be having sanctified food, not pork, not shrimp, not crab, not lobster, they going to eat whatever they want, Ming, Ming, Ling, Ling, Jerry, Johnny, Bo, Karen, they going to eat whatever they want to eat, right? Go ahead.
Absolutely, including meat sacrificed to idols. That's exactly. You're right.
And
you
Paul
absolutely.
Was a Hebrew of Hebrews from the tribe of Benjamin, so
okay.
he didn't eat no meat sacrificed to idols. But go ahead.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. O, we're reading 1 Corinthians chapter 10, and we're at verse 27. If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and ye be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you,
all praises.
whatsoever is set before you, why you ruining it, sis? Eat, asking no question for conscience sake. Verse 28.
Hold on, Salakia, real quick. I want the people to pay attention to what Paul is saying in verse 27.
I want you guys to pay attention. That right quick before Orion starts, right?
Can you explain verse 27 for us?
Hold on, Ak. We're gonna read from verse 23 again, just so you understand, right?
Okay, and I want you to explain verse 27 when we get there, please.
We gonna break it all down, my friend. Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hold on a minute. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Now, I want you guys to all understand. This is a Galatian, right? The same way Paul had to talk to brothers in Galatia, right? In Galatia, is the same way we're gonna have to talk to this brother now. He's got no faith in Hamashiach Yahushua, right?
That's correct.
Tell us how good of teachers we are. You know, I'm not gonna be condescending to the brother. I'm gonna really see if I can wake him up and teach him. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You feel? Because I want him to understand that Paul is not coming from the place of false prophetship or false prophethood, right? He's coming from a place of, yo, we got to get back to explaining and filling the faith part of this thing like our father Abraham did. And that should invoke us to keep the law, right? I'm proud that you keep the law, Ezra. We keep the law too, right? We got our fringes on, you know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we do what we're supposed to do. We just had tabernacles. We stayed in our tents. You know what I'm saying? We got a new moon tomorrow that we're going to be feasting and celebrating. You know what I'm saying? So we actually do things according to the law. I don't want you to think that we're Christians and we just don't do nothing. You feel me? We about that life. You know what I'm saying? The thing that we're trying to teach, specifically the Israelites, is that it's not just about being about that life, right? Even Moses was teaching us that we're supposed to have faith. And he explained to us in Deuteronomy 18:18, there's going to be somebody who's going to come after me who your faith is supposed to be shown towards, right? Whatever he tell you, whatever he bid you, observe, right? So
yes, sir.
Explain that. Hold on. I'm not finished. So like what we have to understand is this is a situation in a platform where you're not going to get Christian rhetoric. You're not going to get lies on the Bible coming from the New Testament. You're going to get exactly what the New Testament says and its context pertaining to the Old Testament that you so heavily believe in, right? And if you allow us to teach you and actually listen to what we're saying, you'll see that there's literally no difference but perfect correlation between what is spoken about in the Old along with what's spoken about in the New. The reason it's called the Testament or a testimony, new and old, and not a new and old covenant per se in your book when you read it, is because even the crackers know that the covenant is the same. The testimony is different only because one is from Moses, who they glorified in the old, and one is from Hamashiach Yahushua, who we glorify now. Let's read what I wanted to read. Go ahead. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23 to 28. And I want to make it clear that according to the Old Testament, brother, he wants us, he doesn't believe in what Paul said, but he believes in verse 23, right? Or whatever verses he quoted, but he doesn't believe in verses 18 to 21, where Paul literally said you can't eat anything sacrificed to idols, right? So yeah, let's just get that clear. They
no, sir. I'm saying to get the whole context, you got to read the whole thing.
That you're going to believe. You feel me? What were you saying?
No, I don't. I'm saying you got to read the whole context. It don't stop at verse 18. It goes all the way down to the end of the chapter. Context means the scriptures that you're reading, all the scriptures together, not like one scripture out of place. You got to read the whole meaning of the chapter.
So
it did not stop at verse 18.
Hold on. So
I'm talking about the subject. When I say context, I'm talking about the subject.
What Stephen Jackson said about Deontay Wilder, would I have to get everything he ever said about Deontay, or would I just have to know exactly what he was talking about in that moment, about that specific situation?
In that specific situation.
Okay, so See, I like him. He's straight to the point with his answers. He don't do all the left and right. Some of your brothers need to
Like
learn from you. But hold on. So with that being said, context, sir, brother, Adawan, elder, Zaquan, because you sound older than me, right? Context would technically be literally, basically, it would be what's written, right? So the context of what Paul's saying is literally what's on paper. That's what I want you to understand. I don't want anybody to divert from what he's saying. I'm going to break down what he said, exactly how he said it, and prove to you that what he said is not what you're thinking. It's exactly what I said it is.
Okay, what I'm specifically saying is he's not finished talking about this subject. Context, I'm talking about the subject that he's talking about. If you keep reading, he's still talking about foods that he was talking about earlier in verses 18, in verses before that. He's still talking about food. So let's see all he has to say about food in this chapter is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
On to 28.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go there. But before we get there, I want you to understand, because you obviously have a different viewpoint than I have. I want you to understand, or try to understand, where I would be coming from my viewpoint, right? I want you to understand that our viewpoint is that, there's a certain specific, not even certain specific. Paul is literally telling you specifically that you're not supposed to eat anything sacrificed to idols. He said that in verses 18 to 21. But we're going to go ahead and read it. You know what I'm saying? Just so you know. I just want you to understand that. But, let's read it.
I understand.
Go ahead.
And that's why I really want you to explain verse 27 when we get there.
We will do that. If you can explain verse 28. Go ahead, I read it. Come on.
And if you could, the elder asked Brother Kelwright, if you could just lower your speaking tone a little bit, because you kind of causing the distortion if you're coming through real loud.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Is that better right there? Is that still too loud?
Do the best you can, King. It's all good. All right.
How about right there? Is that okay?
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay.
Appreciate you. All right, verse 23. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 23.
I want to be on here all night.
All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. Whatsoever is sold on the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. For the earth is the most high's and the fullness thereof.
Wait, hold on. Did you understand that part right there, Ezra?
Yeah, I would like you to explain that verse 25 that he just read.
Okay, great. We get there. Read that one more time, Judah. Start at 23 again.
All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. Go ahead. And that's not to say all things are lawful, like pork and stuff. That's not what he's saying, right? He's saying that you can do whatever you want to your body, but it doesn't mean that it's something you should do, right? That's basically what he's saying. He has the ability to do what he wants, but it doesn't mean he should do whatever he wants. Go ahead. That's Old English.
All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
Right? Go ahead.
Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth.
Right?
Whatsoever is sold in shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
Right?
Hold on, Salakia.
Sold in the shambles. Go ahead.
Just for clarity on the word shambles, it just means like a meat market.
Exactly. It says eat whatever is in in the English Standard Version. It says eat whatever is sold in the market without raising any questions for your conscience sake.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on. Do you know anything about the English Standard Version?
Yes, it's a scholarly version.
Scholarly version. Do you know what artifacts was the English Standard Version scribed from?
What? The English Standard Version it has more family more manual families than the King James has. It goes back further because the King James only had access to certain manuscript families. The English Standard Version got more access to older manuscripts than the King James Version had. But we can go to the King James Version because it means the same thing. The shambles is talking about eat whatever's in the markets, or in the shambles is talking about the markets. and ask no questions. Don't ask questions what it is you eating or if it's
I'm
sacrificed
gonna
to an idol.
explain why he said to not ask no questions or don't ask for conscience sake. It's not to say what you're thinking, which is specifically why he explained in depth that you shouldn't eat food sacrificed to idols. Meaning, if you know it's not sacrificed to idols, you shouldn't do it. AKA, I have the right to, if I'm in the market and I see some good old pork, and a bacon, I could pick up a piece of bacon and put it in my mouth. I probably won't get killed immediately because we got grace right now, but it doesn't mean I should do it. It's not expedient.
Yeah, he
Got
said
it?
it's lawful.
Hold on,
He said
hold on,
he
hold
said
on,
it's
hold on,
lawful but not expedient. He said it's lawful but not expedient.
brother.
Ezra, you missed the whole
I
point
just
of what he said.
explained what lawful meant. See, you're not even listening. This is why I haven't gone deeper into the context yet. I stopped here at 25 because if you can't even grasp what we're trying to teach you in 25, it's going to be impossible for you to get what he said in 28. Because
Okay, explain 25 again. I
hold
might have
on,
missed
brother.
it.
Hold on. One thing at a time, right? One thing at a time. See, Paul taught something that you Old Testament brothers didn't adhere to in the Old Testament. We do things decently and in order, right? There's an order of the scriptures. We're not just going to jump. I'm going to teach it in order. You feel me? We stopped
know.
here for a
That's
reason
what I
because
was
I felt
saying.
like you wasn't going to get it off rip, and you don't get it. So let me explain it to you. If you don't
Okay.
understand it after that, then, it ain't meant for you to see it the way I see it. That's okay. You understand what I'm saying? But at least try to understand what I'm saying. Because what you're saying, Paul is saying, from anybody's perspective, except a Christian, which is why you went to the ESV to prove your point, which was translated straight from the KJV by Christians to replace the Bible that the Israelite had translated. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to stay in the King James. Verse 23 is speaking about the food that was sacrificed to idols. It's in reference to the food that was sacrificed to idols that he was speaking about 10 chapters before that, verses 15, 16, 17, 18 to 21. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree.
Okay, so if you agree, let me finish. Now, that being said, if it's in reference to the scriptures that was spoken about that we read, where he literally said that you cannot partake in eating any food sacrificed to devils, you would be eating at the table and the altar thereof, aka if you didn't make the sacrifice, you made the sacrifice spiritually just by eating the food. So one, he's telling you in verse 18, it's not lawful by our law standards. So later on, when he says it's lawful but not expedient, it should already be understood if you understand what he's saying. When he said lawful, it didn't mean lawful, because then he'd be contradicting himself just a couple words later. And you have to understand, this isn't a thing where it was written with verses. This would be a sentence he's writing. That means he contradicted himself in the same damn sentence, brother. That don't make no sense. So please just try to understand where we're coming from, right? It's simple. If you go to verse 23, here, read it. I don't want to read it myself. Read it. Verse 23.
All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
Right? So he's telling you, all things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not, right? So it's certain things you could do that aren't going to edify you. You could do it still, but it might be no reason for doing it. You understand what I'm saying? You could go to the movies to go watch every movie that you've seen already, but if you've seen all the movies, what's the point of going, right? You can still do it.
Okay, but isn't this context
It's
he's still
lawful for you,
talking
but it's
about
not
food,
expedient.
correct?
You said what?
But he's not talking about the movies right here. He's still talking about foods. We still
He's
in the
talking
same
about
context.
food that's in reference to being sacrificed to idols. So what I'm trying to get you to understand, brother, he already explained. Hold on. Just like I just explained in reference to the movies, if you've seen all the movies, it's no point in you going, right? If you know that the food has been sacrificed to idols, it's no point in you eating it. That's what he explained earlier. Please let me finish and listen. That was the connotation in the reference to the movies. Paul already explained what you shouldn't do with the food sacrificed to idols. You shouldn't eat the mess, right? But he's about to explain, just so you know, so I ain't got to explain it later, and I could go back and re-explain it. What he's explaining after this is, if you don't know if food is sacrificed to idols, You shouldn't be, oh, damn, I'm in the meat market. Oh, this food look good. You know, this is lamb here, but I don't know if they sacrificed it to Nimrod or they sacrificed it to Chemosh. You know what I'm saying? So I should like not look at this stuff, you know. Ah, damn, I just shouldn't eat. I shouldn't eat. I'ma just starve to death. Damn, I don't know if it's sacrificed to idols. Don't be over righteous much that thou destroy thyself. Isn't that in the Old Testament, brother? So, don't interrupt me. Let me finish. Hold on. So, what he's teaching is this to the Old Testament brothers in Galatia that only think about the law, right? So, if they're thinking, hey, we don't eat pork, we don't eat shrimp, we don't eat crab, we don't eat lobster. If you cook, hey, I'm gonna give you a story. I don't want y'all all went out with us one time. They cook his food. He got some burger. They cook his burger on the same damn grill that they cook somebody's shrimp, crab, and lobster on. Yo, you just cook my. I just told you I don't eat that, and you're gonna cook his food the same place you cook my food. Don't do that, right? Imagine you not having the options do that though in 2021. It's like a long time ago. You ain't got nobody to remake you no food. It's limited meat out there and all that type of stuff. And you know, they only clean a certain amount of meat per day type stuff. It's limited. You go out there, they're cooking your food. You don't know what it's been cooked on. It's just out there in the market. It's out there on the shelves for you to buy it. You don't know how it's cooked. You can't see it. None of that stuff. Like y'all all got to see his food, right? You can't see it. You don't know what happened. Are you going to worry yourself? Damn, I don't know if they cooked that food with that shrimp, crab, and that lobster. They got that grill back there. I need to ask him if he cooked it with the food. Hey, bro, you cooked that food with them shrimp and crab? He's telling you no because he wants you to buy it? No. He's a merchant. He's going to lie to you and tell you whatever he wants you to tell you, right? So instead of worrying yourself to death and starving to death like Israel would have did, right? We got brothers in the book of the Maccabees that wouldn't eat pork and died for it, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. You should. You shouldn't eat pork. But I'm saying in the meat market, what Paul was trying to explain to them is, yo, for conscience sake, if you know that it's a lawful food, but you don't know how it was cooked or how it was sacrificed, or if it was sacrificed to idols, you know what I'm saying? Instead of killing yourself over it, just don't ask for conscience sake and eat the food. Pray over it yourself and may the Most High forgive you if it was sacrificed to idols because you have grace right now. That's what we're teaching, and that magnifies Christ because why do we have grace? You wouldn't believe this, Ezra, but for the people on our platform, they believe this, right? We have grace because we believe in Hamashiach Yahushua, who died for the sins of the Israelites to allow them the time period or grace period to return back to the law, statutes, and commandments, which is their heritage that they lost according to the curses that came upon them and the reminder that Jeremiah told them in Jeremiah chapter 17, that they would discontinue from the heritage that God gave them and serve their enemies in a land which they know not. Okay? So that's that on that. Let's read the verse 28 and then we'll let the brother respond. Go ahead.
Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
See, so whatsoever is out there in the markets, in the shambles, you seen all this meat out there, just don't go crazy for conscience sake. Keep going.
For the earth is the Most High's and the fullness thereof.
Yeah, he's reminding you. You know what? Y'all remember what our brother, Sirach said, what our brother Ezra said, right? The word was made for our sakes. You feel me? The earth is ours. They told us, Moses told us, we a nation of kings and priests. We a holy nation set apart unto the Most High, above all people on the face of the earth. Don't get no better than that. That has to mean the earth belongs to us. It don't belong to nobody else, right? That's common sense. So yeah, the earth is yours. The earth belongs to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, keep going.
If any
wait, hold on. Before you continue, I want to make it clear. Not once did he say, "Hey, if it's shrimp, crab, and lobster in there, just eat it. Don't worry about it for conscience sake." He didn't say that. I want to make that clear.
I'm with you on that.
All
He's
right.
not talking about unclean foods. He's talking about food sacrificed to idols.
And he never said you could eat it. He didn't even say if you know it's sacrificed to idols, still eat it. Don't worry about it for conscience sake. He said if you don't know, don't ask for conscience sake. Because then you might walk down the aisle and everybody in the market, if they telling you the truth, yes, I serve Chemosh. Yes, Because you know damn well ain't none of these merchants is Israelites. So what that tell you off rip? If they prayed over their food, it was sacrificed to idols. That's what he's telling you. But since you're not in that time period, and everybody right now is a damn Christian, whether they know it or not, they praying to Yahweh on accident. They call him Yahweh, right? Ain't no Chimash right now. So you ain't got to go through that. But our people back then, there was a Chimash. There was a Lord and a God, because those are names of Scandinavian lords and gods, right? There was a Muhammad and an Allah. There was a damn, well, not then, but you know, after the fact, still during this time period. That type of stuff is happening during Muhammad's period. I'm talking about with our people, because it was that type of meat markets back then still. So when they got Paul's writings down back during the time of Muhammad, they still have to go through this same process. Us not having to deal with this problem is recent. It's a new thing on the earth. When we can control our own ships and stuff like that, this is the problems we have. If you an Israelite that's sailing the earth or something like that as a pirate, you hop off the ship, because you know, Israelites was Vikings, we was all that stuff. The Moors, we sailed the earth as natives, you know what I'm saying? We was over here in this side of the earth. We all type of different things. You hop off the ship somewhere, you in a new land, you need to eat, you go to the nearest market, everybody's Elam. You hear them clapping the dang bells, ting, 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 ting. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Right? You know they damn sacrificing to idols. You gonna not eat no food the whole time you're there? No. Paul said if it's lamb, you know you can eat it. You don't know what they sacrifice to, don't ask for conscience sake. Buy the damn lamb and eat. Pray over it yourself. The Most High made the whole earth. He was trying to calm brothers and sisters. Don't kill yourself. If everybody died, Israel can't do what we're supposed to do here. Yahushua, he did his thing for no reason. Eat your food. Make sure it's lawful. But eat your food. And if you don't know if it was sacrificed to idols, don't ask. Just eat your food. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask him a quick question for clarity? So, Ezra, we done went through 23 to 27. We ain't got to 28 yet, but we done went through it a couple times. Now that he has explained it in depth, do you now understand that Paul is saying, if you know that it's sacrificed to idols, don't eat it. But if you do not know, do not ask for your conscience sake. Do we understand that now?
Yes, I understood that. I understood that at first. But that's not Paul's total position, is what I'm saying.
Say it again.
I said that's not Paul's total position.
His
total position is you can eat it, but don't eat it if you offend others by it.
Hey, Ezra, I got a question for you.
The chapter that he avoided was chapter 8. Explains all that what I just said.
Hold up, you said what? He said what? Well, he said we can eat it.
Paul said it's okay to eat foods offered to idol as long as you don't offend your brothers. That's what chapter 8, the chapter that you avoided,
hold on,
teaches.
I'll explain that in a minute, because
let's finish this one
he wasn't
first.
even saying that. Hold on, I'm gonna explain that. I'm gonna tell you what he said, and then we're gonna go and read it. But first, we're gonna finish 10, because you're not gonna get away, brother. One thing at a time. We do things decently and in order. I got a question for you. Do you believe in Ezekiel?
Yes.
What did Ezekiel say in chapter 4, verse 13?
You want me to get there?
Yeah, and then I want you to tell me if you believe that scripture. One of you brothers read it for him. Ezekiel 4 and 13.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4 and verse 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them.
So, I got a question for you. What is this defiled bread that they're talking about that the Israelites will eat, not might eat, not, could be in the vicinity to eat, but shouldn't do it, but they will do it in the places where the Most High will drive them? And I'm pretty sure that, Paul being somebody who was in, Ephesus, Galatia, Philippi, Thessalonia, all these different places, right? He was in places where we were driven, James 1:1, the brother of Hamashiach Yahushua, who you don't believe in, right? He said, greeting to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. And I know Isaiah told us we will be scattered abroad in certain places that, Peter mentioned when he said, greeting to us scattered abroad as well in his own way. He called us aliens, right? So it's the same thing. You feel what I'm saying? So I want to know, defiled bread amongst the Gentiles. What does that mean? What is Ezekiel speaking about, brother?
It's a curse. If we got captured by our enemy and we are forced to eat these things, it's a curse, bro. That's not a good thing.
You're right.
It's
I didn't say it was a good thing.
So you can't use that to prove this.
Are the Israelites supposed to eat defiled bread in the places where the Most High is going to drive them?
Absolutely not. But if that's all you got to eat, it's a curse. At one point, they said that we will eat our own kids.
Okay,
it's not a blessing. It's a curse.
Okay. Let me rephrase it, brother, because I didn't not one time say, is it a good thing that they eat defiled bread? No, I didn't say that. You're not listening to the question, brother. I'm asking you a specific question for a reason. Just give me a straight up answer. Stop trying to make it seem like I'm trying to say something I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
What? Okay, yes, he said it. It's been said.
Right?
Yes,
so,
I agree.
Okay, so he's saying that we will eat defiled bread amongst the Gentiles, right?
Yes, sir.
So you being the type of brother you are, right? You just from the way that you're acting right now, I can tell, right, that if you were in a situation where you had to eat defiled bread amongst Gentiles, you would probably starve to death because you're that righteous of a brother. I could tell. You are that strong of a brother that you are not going to allow yourself to eat no defiled bread amongst Gentiles. And I applaud you for that, right? But what Paul was teaching is that, hey, it's a good thing to be like that. We want brothers to be like that. But if every brother in Israel takes that stance, ain't gonna be no more brothers in Israel. Ain't gonna be no more children that are as the sand of the sea. Ain't gonna be no Ezekiel 14. Ain't no 21:14. Ain't no taking over Esau. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no getting to put our hands on him and bash his baby's heads against the stone. Ain't none of that get to happen, right? If we all just died because we didn't eat the defiled bread, all of us got put into captivity, or taken into captivity rather, right? All of us lost our heritage and our spots as the top people and the top nation on the planet. So all of us are in a situation where we are in a captivity where we have to serve our enemies for wood and stone, for food, clothing, water, right?
Yes,
it
sir.
tells us that as the curses, as you said, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 45 to 48. It explains to us all these things that I just said and how and what we're going to have to serve and ask our enemies for. So with that being said, food being one of them, Ezekiel told us there's going to be defiled bread amongst the Gentiles. Paul is bringing comfort to the brothers like you specifically in Galatia, specifically, because all them brothers thought like you. Yo, we around these brothers, not these brothers, we around these Greeks, these heathen, these Edomites, these Idumeans, these devils that the Bible speaks of, and they over here, causing us to eat all this defiled food. What are we gonna do? We got our own little church temple thing that we got here, and they got pork on the altar every freaking Sunday, and they make us go to church on Sunday.
So as Paul, I got a question. Is Paul following the directions of the apostles when the apostles told him? Okay.
Ask that question in a minute because I didn't hear it. I'm trying to make my point. Okay. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Not try to respond so much. I'm staying up for you for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help you out, bro. Look, Paul is trying to bring comfort to brothers that have your mindset specifically. That if I'm in a foreign land, and there's all this defiled food, I'm going to starve to death because I'm not going to put my temple through that. Right? Paul saying the Most High put you in a situation. He doesn't want you to starve to death. We're not telling you to eat the bad food. We're saying if you don't know it's sacrificed to idols, don't ask for conscience sake so that you can have a meal that night. That's what he was saying. He was bringing comforts to brothers and sisters so that they could survive. So it won't be no more eating their children as you mentioned, right? Because that's a curse in Deuteronomy too. That happened during this time period, right before Paul came on the scene. Luke 21. It's in the New Testament, brother. That's when it happened. It's historically documented. The siege of 69 to 73 AD. The people that got trapped in 70 AD, they had to eat their kids. So that stuff like that don't happen again, it's meat in these meat markets where you're in captivity. You got cod, you got lamb, you got goat, you got chicken, you got cow, but they also got moose, they got camel, they got shrimp, they got crab, they got lobster, raccoon, ferret, right? All this different crap. He ain't telling us to eat the raccoon, the ferret, all that mess. And he ain't telling us eat the shrimp, crab, and the lobster. He's saying if you see the lamb, don't even walk up to the dude that's selling it. Don't ask the merchant, hey, who's your God? Who do you serve? Did you pray over this food? Don't even worry yourself that. It was already told to you that you were going to eat defiled bread amongst the Gentiles. You're now in that situation. Don't ask for conscience sake, but don't eat no unclean food either. Choose the clean food. And just like we have to do today, we don't get to go to the grocery store. Hey, was this food sacrificed to white Jesus or black Jesus? Was you people Muslims in the back? Y'all praying to Allah back here before y'all put this food in this wrap? I know you Muslims got to pray 5 times a day. I know you had to do that junk somewhere in the back. Where the rug at? We ain't doing that. Just like we ain't doing that, Paul was teaching them, y'all don't got to do that because it was brothers doing that back then. Okay? He's bringing them down for conscience sake. Does everybody understand that? Ezra especially. Do you at least understand what I'm saying? I ain't asking you if you agree with it. I'm just saying, do you understand?
I absolutely understand what you're saying.
All praises. That's all I want you to do is understand. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 8 so we can
Hold on, bro. We're not finished. He only on verse 27.
Okay, let's read verse 28. I thought you wanted to stop there because 28 was going to get you. That's the sword.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be the one falling on it.
All right, let's go ahead and get through this one.
Yeah, all right, let's go.
Verse 27, if any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and ye be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no question for your conscience sake. Verse 28, but if any man say unto you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat not for his sake that shoot it, and for conscience sake, for the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof.
Verse 29. Verse 29.
Wait, hold
verse
on.
29.
How long do you want us to read, brother?
Okay, just go to verse 29.
Okay.
It's still the same subject. How we can't cut it off in the middle of a thought.
Verse 29.
Yes, sir.
Conscience I say, not thine own, but of the other. For why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience?
He just explained the whole thing. If a brother tell you, hey, this was offered to an idol, it says, don't eat it. Not for your own conscience sake, because to Paul, foods offered to idols don't mean nothing. He said, but don't eat it for the brother who said this is offered to an idol. For his sake, don't eat it. And this is the same thought that is taught in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 8. The same thought is don't eat it because of your conscience, because we know that idols don't mean nothing. To us, idols is nothing.
Okay, no.
But don't offend that weak brother who think that the idol means something. Don't offend him. This is the whole thing what Paul is teaching. From verse 29, if you go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 8, is the same exact thought. I promise you. It's the same thought.
Okay. You're right about one thing, wrong about another thing. It's the same thought when he's trying to explain to them to put something at ease. He's trying to, in both chapters, both scriptures, right? He's trying to, for the conscience sake of the Israelite men and women in this time period, he's trying to put their minds at ease, right? For example, in chapter 8, in reference to their brethren, he's telling them specifically and literally that, let's say, for example, since we like to use things for right now, right?
Can we go to 8 while you talking?
Yes, we're gonna go to 8, but you just made me stay in 10, so you got to wait now. I was trying to go.
I apologize.
Hold up a second. So in 8, what he's explaining is, right? Just so you understand our basis there, just like he did in 10, where he was trying to put their conscience at ease with food in the market. Now he's speaking about if it's at somebody's house. Say you go to a brother's crib. You don't know how his wife cooked the food, what she cooked. Now you see it. Bam. It's some food you don't eat. It might be lawful. It might be some tilapia or something. It's man-made, but it got scales and fins. Feel me? It might be some I don't know, spaghetti or something. It's just something you don't eat, right? I eat spaghetti. I'm just saying, like, it might be something you don't eat. You know what I'm saying? So to not offend that brother, there's certain ways you got to act. If it's a vegan, you at a vegan house and they eat no meat, and you going to a party, it's a vegan party. It's a vegan house you're going to. What you look like bringing a big old rack of lamb, fully seasoned with the lemon spread on top of it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What you look like bringing that to a vegan feast? Now you've offended your brother, right? That's what he's explaining in chapter 8. And it carries on to the same way you wouldn't want to offend your brother in that type of instance. You know, you shouldn't do that type of thing in this sentence or in this instance. Why should, you know, what you have going on be determined off of another man's conscience? It's not so much that, but, you know, if you got brothers, you shouldn't try to willingly offend your brothers. That's what he's explaining in chapter 8, not to offend, that there's certain ways you're going to have to move.
Yeah, but in chapter 8, he's talking about idols again. He said,
yeah,
you can eat. He said you can eat of these idols, but don't eat them if you around weak brothers that know that the idol means nothing.
Let's go.
That's what 8. The whole. Yeah, yes, sir.
We're not getting through Galatians 3. You know that, right?
I'm about to tell him now because it's 12:09. I gotta, man. Ezra, after this, are you free next Monday?
Yes, sir. I tell you what, I'm free for. If we can set up a moderated debate, I'm free to debate you guys and to show you that the whole New Testament is not of the Almighty. With a moderated debate, that means we both got equal time.
Hey, Eliel, I'll moderate the joint. We'll do
That's
it
not fair, Judah. You can't moderate.
Yes, you can. Soldier Judah.
I'll moderate it.
No. Ezra, it's cool. We're going to get a real moderator. It's going to be a brother that's not a part of our camp. He ain't associated with our camp. He's a moderator from an app called Clubhouse. Okay? Okay. I'm sure the brother will be free. Damn, I need a way to get your information. Because if that's the case, ain't no need for us to go into what I'm about to go into now.
No, I would still like to go through this chapter 8, because this chapter 8 is going to really set it all straight.
Well, if you want to have a debate, I would like to use chapter 8 to, you know, have a tip of the sword for you to fall on, if you understand what I'm saying. It ain't going to be so drastic of a fall if I teach it now and teach it in the debate.
I mean, this doesn't even have to be part. This is what I want the debate to say.
You said the whole New Testament. I am not going to go through the New Testament without mentioning 1 Corinthians 8 and 1 Corinthians 10 with you.
Okay,
1 Corinthians 12.
Okay, I'll give you my position real quick. This will be my position. Is that the New Testament twist takes out of context, and add to and subtract from the Tanakh, what you guys call the Old Testament. The New Testament,
we call it the Tanakh too.
okay, well, the New Testament twist, takes out of context, add to and subtract from the Tanakh. That is my position. And I will prove that through the scriptures. I will compare New Testament scriptures compared to Old Testament scriptures to show how the New Testament has taken it out of context and distorted it.
Okay, so just to be clear, because I'm not gonna be able to prove that. I'm gonna have to prove that that's not what the deal is. But I'm trying to see what angle I could come from, because that whole title you gave would be just for your side. We gotta have a debate where we could go back and forth, you know. So if
Yeah,
you
I mean,
wanna
if
teach
you
on-
would like, I would even give you the verses that I will
no,
debate.
No. I'm not asking for all that. What I'm saying is, how can I word this better? So I'm trying to figure out what angle I could come from the stance of the type of debate you're trying to have, right? Like normally, if it's an Old Testament brother, I would say the debate should be on something like proving the existence of Christ or something like that. But you just said you want to prove that the whole New Testament takes from and retracts and changes things from the Tanakh. So
Well,
I guess
I believe Yeshua existed.
So I guess the title of the debate should be something like, does the New Testament agree with the Tanakh, yay or nay?
Okay, that's fine.
That sound good?
Yep.
So that's what we'll speak about. Does the New Testament agree with the Tanakh, yay or nay? So your stance is going to be proving that it doesn't agree with the Tanakh and that there's things that contradict, as you said. And
Yes.
my stance is going to be proving that it's actually speaking directly from the Tanakh and that there is no differences and it's actually speaking the exact same thing.
Sounds good.
All right. It's 12:13. I work a job that I gotta travel an hour and a half to, and I gotta be there at 5 a.m. So I could answer your question about chapter 8. Well, I really gave you the stance on it already without reading it. I would like to read it in the debate though.
Okay.
If you feel me. But just to give you our stance again in chapter 8, it's so that brothers don't offend their brothers as far as chapter 8 is concerned. And in chapter 10, it's more so that they don't offend themselves by being over righteous much, causing themselves destruction, right? As in them not eating because of them being over righteous much, because they know that the food been sacrificed to idols. And the example I gave was if you're in a foreign land and you're not in control and you know nobody is, then they obviously sacrifice to idols because they're praying to somebody, right? If they didn't, you ain't got nothing to worry about anyway. If they're atheist, agnostic, whatever the hell it is that they call it, right? You ain't got nothing to worry about. But if they're an Ifa believer or they're an Egyptologist, or, Krishna Har, right? Hindu, Buddhist, something like that, right? Then you got to worry about that. They obviously would pray over their food. They do their rituals, Muslims, Allah, that type of stuff. And we were in the Muslim slave trade after this time period too, right? The Arab slave trade. So there was a time period where our brothers who knew Paul's writings and had versions of the New Testament, right? During the Arab slave trade and the Arab invasions into West Africa, North Central, South Africa, and the Middle East, where they were taking us as captives, right? These brothers had to use this same tactic, had to use these same laws, these same rules for themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we got to understand. So I mean, I just want you to feel that, at least from our standpoint. You don't got to agree with it, but
no, I
that's
do
what we would say is
understand.
being spoken about there.
I understand
Not that
exactly
he's
what
telling
you're
us we
saying.
can eat any food sacrificed to idols, but that he's telling us if you don't know for sure it's been sacrificed to idols, just don't ask for conscience sake, as long as it is a lawful food that Moses told you can eat.
Okay, but do know that chapter 8, he don't take that stance. Chapter 8, he knows that these is sacrificed to idols, and he said, if your weak brother don't understand that an idol don't mean nothing, then don't do it.
Salaki.
My whole point. Oh, I'm sorry.
Salaki, brother Ezra.
All right.
Okay.
Everyone wants us to show. Let's go there. Get Psalm 96 and 5. I was gonna skip this. Damn it. He just keeps saying.
The book of Psalm, chapter 96 and verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but Yahweh made the heavens.
So all the gods are idols. Whatever God they pray to, if they made the food, if they singing a prayer while they cooking the food, the food been sacrificed to idols. And it don't matter what God they pray to, if it wasn't again Yahweh Shem Yahushua, then they sacrificed to an idol, right? Let's go to 8 and just show them real quick what they're saying, and then we're gonna close out. And wait, Ezra, what's your email? Give it to me real quick so I can.
I got all his stuff. I put it in the group message.
Oh, you're fine. How you did that? When y'all did that?
The brother put it in there. He was ready.
Damn.
Put it all
Okay.
in there.
Shout out to you, Ezra. I didn't know. I didn't even see it. All right. Anyway, so 8. Yeah. Let's just get that right quick. Get to the point. All right. You know where it is. Did he drop off? What happened?
It says devices not connected. I think he got pulled off.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Most High did that because damn well I was trying to say this. Yeah, I can't even kick him off. That was his connection.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's him.
Yeah. All right, then. Well, we're gonna go ahead and close it out then, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so stay tuned in. I guess next week we're gonna try to get him on there if he decides to do it. There's supposed to be some other things we got going on for y'all Milk Mondays, because I told y'all if they ever decide to come up, we're gonna test the milk that we put up there. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, he popped up. You got that scripture right quick, Ariah, just so we get the point, or no?
I mean, it's like two good points that kind of prove the point. I can read verse 3 that kind of will put in context what Paul is really saying.
Yeah, that's all we need. Hold on, he's back. Go ahead.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 3. But if any man love God, the same is known of him. The reason why I say that with context, because we know that the love of God is the keeping of the commandments. So before Paul even goes into explaining what he's about to talk about in verse 8, he's saying, if any man love God, the same is known of him. So whatever Paul is saying, he's speaking from the love of God, which is the commandments. Romans 7:1, Paul says, I speak to them that know the law. So that would be the context.
So off rip, the people who he's talking to already know off rip that, hey, I ain't supposed to be eating certain foods. So they already know that. So it's already certain foods they're not even going to have in their eyesight that they can eat. Second, if they know it's been sacrificed to idols, get to that part. If they know it's been sacrificed to idols, then what's the other 2 points you had, right? Because you ain't telling me what they were.
Verse 8, it said, but meat condemneth us not to God, for neither if we eat are we better, neither if we eat not are we the worse. And that's but when Paul's speaking, it's like Romans 14 is talking about, you got some people that ate meat, you got some people that was vegetarians.
As we mentioned.
Right. So he's using
that's the exact example that we gave, is it not? Go ahead.
So when Paul said, the idols is nothing, but to us there's but one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord Jesus Christ, by whom are all things, and we by him. He's establishing his position. Look, we serve Yahweh while Yahweh Shai, regardless of what's about to go down. Lammy, backing off your point, if lamb is lawful, then eat the lamb, because the Lord sanctified that to be lawful. So that's why Paul is saying not to ask for conscience sake, because you don't know if Elam sacrificed this lamb to damn Kamash. So to us, we have one God, and that God gave us a law in Leviticus the 11th chapter on meat we can and cannot eat. So when you went to verse 10 to explain to him that context in verse 8 and verse 10 is the same, like the brother was kind of missing it. So that's what Paul is saying.
That's the deepest breakdown we're gonna give on this platform right now to next week. So you're gonna be cool coming next week. What time? I ain't gonna lie to you. The earliest we could start is 9:15 because I don't get home now till 9 o'clock coming from work.
That's fine. You have my information. If you can just set up a time and a date, it don't matter to me. Whatever you set, I'm fine with it.
All right, that's a bet. Will you be by yourself or you want to bring a friend or what?
No, I'll be by myself.
Okay. All right, cool. Sounds good. So all right, we'll be in contact. Definitely. I'll hit you. If not tomorrow, then the next day or one of the brothers will be in contact with you. Just be on the lookout. And we'll talk to you next week, brother. It's good talking to you. Appreciate your time.
And can I say one more little small thing? Just 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
My whole point of bringing it up is that the fact that Paul actually went against what the apostles told him in Acts chapter 15 and in Acts chapter 21. Paul, the apostles gave specific commands for them to do, and Paul, one of the commands were that they should not eat meats sacrificed to idols. That was the command that the apostles gave to Paul, and Paul agreed to it. So for Paul to be saying these things, he went against the apostles. That was my whole point of bringing that up.
All
right.
I know you say you out of time, but that I just wanted to throw that out there to show you where I'm coming from.
I feel you. Okay. So maybe I'll keep that in mind for the debate as well. I might teach on that a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, that's Acts 15 and Acts 21.
Yeah, I got it. I wrote it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right. Sounds good, Adawan. I will talk to you later, bro.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, if what's your PayPal? I'll donate some money just for taking up your time.
Oh, you ain't got to do that, brother. But we actually have. How do you do the super chat? Oh, you know what? Here, look, wow, it's on the screen.
Hold on.
It's 4 of us. There it is. Wait, hold up. Wait.
It's in the description section.
Hold up. I'm gonna move these brothers down. Here, hold up. Bow. You see that now? Says the contact.
Yeah. Hold on, let me.
PayPal me. Below that is the Cash App. Cash App is SOT Israelites. PayPal is paypal.me/SOT Israelites.
Okay, hold on. Let me take a picture of it, and I will I'll send some money right now just for. I know you guys was teaching a specific.
You ain't got to do it, bro. We don't do it for the money, but if the water for your donation in advance, if you decide to do that.
I mean, just for taking up your time, I appreciate you guys taking out the time. So that's PayPal.
Yeah, we're gonna finish the Galations lesson a little bit later, guys. You will get the rest of that lesson, I promise you, because y'all need to get that.
So that's PayPal.PayPal.me/ is that SOT?
Yep, SOTISRAELITES.
Okay, got you. I'm on it right now, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you. We will talk next week, brother. Have a good night.
Okay, take care. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So, hope you got... Damn, Judah, you removed yourself. So, hope y'all enjoyed the stream, though. Like I said, we will get back to the lesson next week. Or, not next week. The week after next week, if we have this debate that we just scheduled. So, yeah, I guess y'all tune in next week. What was I gonna say? Yeah, just keep believing in Hamashiach Yahushua, man. Make sure that y'all magnify him. I know we didn't get through that, but y'all got the gist of what I was trying to say there. So make sure that we continue to do that, man, or get to it if that's not what you was doing, right? And hopefully by the end of our debate with the brother, he'll be magnifying Hamashiach Yahushua too, and understanding what Paul was saying. All right. So with that, we are the Sons of Thunder Israelites. It is our prayer and heart's desire that all Israel might be saved. Shalom.